Park funds, town manager talk, and a new generator for the airport on this episode of Barnstable Today. I'm Sarah Colvin. It's Wednesday, January 18th, 2012. Questions surrounding the search for a permanent town manager for Barnstable still are on the minds of many residents and many members of the press. The town council has not yet chosen a new town manager search subcommittee. Yesterday, the council held a press conference previewing this week's town council meeting. Council President Fred Chirigotis was asked for an update on the search for a town manager.
I asked councilors who was interested, and I have 13 responses. Adamant responses. 13 people who adamantly want to participate. So the question is whether we can form a subcommittee or we meet as a committee of the whole. It becomes both of those have their challenges. So I haven't finalized the committee yet.
The town is one step closer to making improvements to Ridgewood Park. Last December, town councilors approved an appropriation of funds to pay for the upgrades to the park situated in the heart of the Tree Streets neighborhood in Hyannis. And now, even more money is coming to town thanks to the Gateway City Parks program. Town officials received word of a $50,000 grant, which was announced at yesterday's town council press conference.
We are one of 24 gateway cities in the Commonwealth, and we received this grant related to Ridgewood Park. We're naturally very pleased, and I thank Joanne Miller-Buntage, the Growth Management Director, for all her work.
We had been unaware of until we had spoken with them. So we had applied for the park grant for both Ridgewood Park and another park at the end of Pleasant Street, and we didn't make it in this round, although we've been strongly encouraged the next round. This $50,000 gets us up and running. We'll need additional funds, and we'll work from here to determine how we would secure those funds for park construction. But we're very pleased and very delighted that we've been recognized by the Gateway Parks program. And I would say in an email from the folks who administer the program, they encouraged us to identify a larger park project that they would like to fund as well.
This is a check that this morning we received
$50,000.
From the
Issues at the Barnstable Municipal Airport take center stage at this week's town council meeting. The council will discuss asbestos removal, a new generator, and utility easements. We spoke with airport manager Bud Brialt on today's episode of Barnstable this morning. He shared some good news about food service coming to the brand new terminal building.
Last night we awarded the bid, if you will, to Chef Ralph Binder, who does business as the Mad Platter, currently in Mashpee, and we'll be working with him very closely to start the preparations for the modifications of the space in the building to meet his needs. And he won that bid through competition with 3 other companies, and we're very happy to have him on board.
Town councilors will also offer the first reading of an appropriation and transfer order of $365,000 to deal with asbestos at the old air traffic control tower. The airport manager says a great deal of asbestos remains inside that old building and must be properly removed before the tower can be demolished.
The terminal is fine. We had more asbestos in the terminal, but nowhere near the extent that we found in the tower. Unfortunately, back in 2005, there was an inspection done of all these buildings, but at that time they were unable to do what they call destructive testing. So they were unable to get behind walls, behind panels, and so forth, because it would have created an unsafe working atmosphere for the tower. So they assumed that they guessed what may be there, and they guessed wrong. And so when we got in, when we vacated the tower in November and we started doing destructive tests, we just found a tremendous amount of asbestos everywhere. And we were agreed yesterday on a work plan. It's going to take a good 6 weeks of work from when we start at the either end of this week or next week to actually get rid of the asbestos before we can actually tear down the building.
The public will have a chance to comment on the airport's request to spend $500,000 to purchase a new emergency generator. That generator was downsized during many changes made to the airport plan. Rialt explained the need for that new generator.
When the project was completed, we had a 100 kilowatt hour emergency generator, which I didn't realize what the size of it was until the end. We assumed that we had a generator of sufficient size to run the terminal under all conditions, because we operate 24/7 here. We very rarely shut down the airport, or if we do, it's for a very short period of time while we clear runways. And so when you think about that, then for some reason back in 2008, we can't figure out who approved it or why or what happened, but it was the appropriate size generator was downsized, and it never was put on what they call a value engineering list, so that we could, add it back in should we find extra money, or we could have changed the project had we known that was the case. That was never brought to our attention until we ran some emergency power tests just before we moved into the building. We found out we had insufficient power. I was very concerned that we would be unable to operate should we have a major storm or a blizzard or something like that and shut us down. So in the interim, we've gone to the Division of Capital Asset Management, and we got an emergency approval to short-circuit some of the bidding process to be able to put a temporary generator in. The temporary generator has been installed as of last Thursday, so we are fully covered right now for any event. Now we will go through the normal process to acquire a permanent generator of sufficient size for the future, and we'll bid it properly and have it reconstructed.
Indeed. And the Cape Light Compact paid a visit to the Airport Commission's meeting last night. The Compact recognized the new terminal building for its energy-efficient construction.
Last night, Cape Light Compact came before our board and presented us with a check for a little over $60,000 in incentive funds for making the terminal and the tower energy efficient, and sometime in the near future we'll be getting a plaque that specifically calls these Advanced Building Core Performance Awards. So this is sort of another step along the way to getting an Energy Star rating for the terminal and for the LEED Silver certification for the tower. So I think we're very proud of that, and we're very proud of what we're trying to do with regard to energy reduction, requirements.
Rialt says a grand opening ceremony for the newly reconstructed Barnstable Municipal Airport could happen as soon as mid-April. He'd like to see demolition of both the old terminal and tower and completion of landscaping prior to holding that grand opening ceremony. We, of course, will keep you posted on any news we hear about that. Citizens have a chance to experience firsthand a day in the life of a state senator. The 68th Citizens Legislative Seminar at the State House in Boston is scheduled for March 20th and 21st. The day-long sessions offer insight into the workings of the state Senate and features presentations by state senators and their staff members. The day ends with a simulated legislative hearing where the citizen participants can have a chance to show off what they've learned serving as senators for a day. Residents in Plymouth and Barnstable districts that are currently represented by Senate President Therese Murray can sign up. This includes Barnstable Precincts 10, 11, 12, and all of Bourne, Falmouth, and Sandwich. Call Annalise Schufelt in Therese Murray's office by January 27th. Participants are nominated on a first-come, first-served basis. The Cape Cod Foundation is seeking grant proposal applications from organizations looking to eliminate health disparities, promote wellness, and prevent and manage chronic disease for individuals who are elderly and/or persons with disabilities. The deadline is February 17th. Details can be found online at capecodfoundation.org under grant information. The $70,000 in grant funds to be awarded are provided by Cape Cod Healthcare. And finally, both the Barnstable Senior Center and the Hyannis Youth and Community Center will be featured on WCVB Channel 5's popular show Chronicle tonight. Both facilities were taped to be included in tonight's segment on the aging of Cape Cod. The show airs at 7:30 p.m. on Channel 5. With Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Colvin.